Hello, Sioux Falls, and welcome to Planning Preview for the month of February. My name is Jason Bieber at the Planning and Development Services Office, and joining me for the last time today is Kurt Johnson with the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Jason. So bittersweet when you say it that way.
Yep, this will be your 12th and final appearance on Planning Preview for us, and you've done an amazing job over the last year. And actually, the other sad part is you're actually done in May with 10 years on the Planning Commission.
Well, you know, what are you going to say? It's just time flies when you're having fun.
So 10 years, you've probably done like 240 meetings in 10 years. Think about that, 240 meetings you've went to. So we just want to say we appreciate your service and all the 10 years that you put on the Planning Commission. So.
Well, thank you, Jason. Much appreciated. And that being said, still, we got a little work to do.
You got a little bit left.
We got to roll through what we're going to be seeing here coming up on the 1st of February. So it's okay with you, we'll just dive right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our first item, it looks like we have a rezoning from ag to a multiple zoning designation and a preliminary subdivision plan to go with that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this one? We're looking at East Paddington and Veterans Parkway.
Yeah, so this is kind of another one of those subdivisions that we've seen over the last year to 2 years, kind of with the completion of Veterans Parkway up to I-90. We've seen a lot of growth and a lot of annexations and then a lot of development out there, especially north of Madison Street. So this would be just north of Madison Street, just north of Kelly Nielsen's development, and similar to what we've seen out there, some office/apartments adjacent to Veterans Parkway, and then transitioning into some single family and some twin homes as you start going east. So just some additional rooftops, as we call them, out on the northeast side of the city in the Brandon School District.
Well, a multiple use type area, and it's definitely needed. Residential of any type is going to be more than welcome, so very good. Looks like our next one, we're going to rezone from O Office District to a conservation district, probably just logical for flood planning and such like that. 57th and South Solberg.
Yep, so this is kind of the detention area for that kind of office and industrial district over there. This is a parcel that is zoned office, but should be zoned conservation like you talked about. And really it's just for that existing drainage pond, and then I believe they're going to transfer it over to the city for us to maintain. So.
Very good. All right. Our last item, and I hate to say it that way, gosh, it just seems like last meeting, last filming, last item, but RD1 Twin Home Residential to Suburban RT2. It looks like we're just increasing the density a bit. 1800 block of South Prairie. Why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, great. This is one of those ones that we see quite a bit over the year, where we're going from RS to an RT1. This is a similar use. It's a twin home, our duplex zoning district, and we're going actually to what we call the townhome traditional residential district. So as we've seen these properties kind of come in throughout the years since Shape Places became effective, we research them and make sure that they're been permitted for an increased number of units. So this one we looked, and they've had a 4-unit kind of converted house for 30 plus years, and so this is one of those ones we're really just correcting the zoning for the parcel.
Oh, well, very good. Great lineup. Look forward to it. And yeah, last meeting, what can I say?
Well, it's been great having you on the program. And stay tuned, Sioux Falls. After the break, we're going to have Butch Warrington, our chief building official, on to kind of talk about the 2022 building stats and maybe talk about what we're looking forward to in 2023. So stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Brent, and I'm a housing specialist for the city of Sioux Falls, and I'm out here with Kelly, property maintenance manager for the city. We're out here on this snowy day, and we're here to talk about sidewalks. So Kelly, why do we need to clean the sidewalks?
Well, many people use the sidewalks for transportation, kids getting to school, some people, elderly, disabled, or for whatever reason, they go to grocery stores or to work, they need a safe place to travel as well.
So we use about 2 feet of space. Do we only need to do the scoop it path, or do we have to go side to side?
Go the entire width of the sidewalk, edge to edge, and that way it's ADA accessible for those in wheelchairs.
Okay. Today, I don't know if we're going to get 2 inches of snow, but do we have to wait till 2 inches, or do you have to start scooping right away?
No, you have to clear your sidewalk after any snow or ice event, and that's within 48 hours after that event. We need that cleared off.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Well, if you're out scooping your snow and you see that your neighbor's house needs sidewalks scooped as well, do the neighborly thing and help your neighbor out.
If you'd like to see if one of our city programs can help you out, call 367-8180 or check us out online at siouxfalls.org.
Welcome back to Planning Preview for the month of February. Joining me for this special segment of this month's show is Butch Warrington, our Chief Building Official. Thanks for coming on, Butch.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Well, it's great to have you on, and I know the mayor just announced, and so did our director, Jeff Eckhoff, our record-breaking building permit information for 2022. So I wanted to have you on to talk maybe a little bit about that, but also maybe we can get down into the nitty-gritty of some of the actual stats that maybe they didn't really provide to the general media. So I just want to get your, what do you think the biggest driver was last year for us to get to our $1.93 billion?
We had a lot of big projects last year. Nothing really great like the Amazon project was a few years ago, but we had a lot of really big projects this year. Sharapa, Sioux Steel District, they were some of the bigger ones. And now we're starting to see some of the tenant build-outs for the Sharapas and whatnot. And that is big too, because it was just a shell is what we issued before.
So we'll see some of those bigger permits for those two large projects that you talked about downtown. Those will actually come on the 2023 rolls then
Yes,
for ourselves.
exactly.
Because I know with us going from 2021 we were at 1.1 billion, and now to set the record this year by almost $830 million. I think there's kind of a little bit of an idea or maybe a concern that we're going to drop off somewhat, which is pretty standard for how high we were this year.
Yeah, it was, and I expect the big drop-off to be in apartments.
Apartments.
Because we issued 3,343 dwelling units, and I think that was like 150 some units, buildings, shall I say, with that many units in it, and I just can't foresee that staying up that high. I think that number's going to start coming down.
And I think that, last they checked, I believe the multi-housing department, they do kind of occupancy rates about twice a year, but I think they were still in the higher 90s still, right? Correct?
The last we got was, yes, they were in the high 90s for vacancy rate. And so I don't know where it's going to be this next go around. We should get those numbers, in the next month or two, I would guess.
Because we, like you talked about, we issued a little over 3,300 multifamily units, and those take what? I mean, when would you say those are going to come online? Halfway through this year, you would say?
Some of them will come online, and it depends on the apartment building. The 5 units, the 8, 12s, they'll probably come online this year, but the ones that are 160 units, 170 units, those are going to take a while. They probably won't come on until 2024 sometime.
So that's kind of that back off. So we still have a high occupancy rate, but the reason is a lot of these units that you guys have permitted, the double what we did the year before, just haven't come online yet to maybe take that number down a little bit.
Right, exactly. So
yeah. And then some of the other things I'm looking in here, I mean, 1.215 billion for new commercial, and our previous record was what, just under 500 million in 2020. What are those big? Is that number so big, like you said, with the Sharapas and the Sioux Steel, or is there just a lot of other investments still in retail coming around?
There's still going to be some more. I think the rail yards are going to come in, and this year we're also looking at another big apartment building down on First Avenue. That's just coming in. So we're still going to have some sun, and of course the big question is Holstone coming or not?
That'll be a big project.
That'll be a huge project if it ever comes in.
Yep, and then so that was one thing I thought was so great about Sioux Falls. We go to some of these conferences and we have some of these towns that are similar to our size, talking about how hey, we've got $100 million investment in our downtown, with projects. And it's funny when we can talk about, well, we have 2 projects that's just $500 million. So that amount of investment in our downtown area is just amazing over these 2 large projects. And what's great about them is those 2 projects are actually local developers, right? They're not people from out of town coming in and investing that money. So we have a lot of strong relationships with those local developers to make these projects work.
Yep, and our percentage increase is real similar to what I've talked to other building officials throughout the state. That's real similar, so all other communities are doing very well too.
Within the tri-state area, or just kind of around Sioux Falls, would you say?
Around Sioux Falls, but I've talked to them out in Rapid City and Spearfish and also some of the others local towns, and they've had real good increase too.
Yep, great. And then one of the things that I think, like we talked about, we almost doubled our multifamily units, but really we actually went down a little bit in single family, the number of units issued. And I think with the first couple months, or it's not even been a month, but the last couple months, we've really seen a drop in the single family residential permits that are going out. Do you just see that there's a lot of these houses that still need to get finished and maybe they're kind of waiting for those to sell? Or
there's some of that. But I also think the big drop-off is we finally had a winter.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got a lot of snow this year. Yeah. And before that snow, we had a lot of hard, heavy frost that came. So the frost is going down. It's being held in there by the snow. So I don't think they're building because they have to. It's just more difficult. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah, and then, also as part of that, the announcement from the mayor and our director, we still had our estimate of still roughly 6,400 people coming into Sioux Falls, which is, a little over our traditional number of 2.5% or so. But with still that number of people coming, we had 7,000 the year before and now 6,500 this year, and I don't see us slowing down a lot. So I think the sentiment with the construction industry is, hey, the first quarter might be a little slower till we can kind of figure out the market. But I know you've talked, and I've heard you say that you think maybe quarter 2 and end of quarter 2, beginning of quarter 3, we're going to start really ramping up when people figure out that prices are coming down and maybe the market's not as bad as they thought they would be.
I anticipate that's exactly what's going to happen, quarter 2, quarter 3. And to be honest with you, Jason, I'm really glad we did take a little slowdown because we haven't had that slowdown the last couple of years. And your team, like mine, have been tired.
Oh, yeah.
And they needed a little bit of a break. But they'll be ready to go come 1st of March. That's typical when things really start ramping up, when we start getting a little more nice weather, the basketball tournaments start. Yep. That's when everybody starts submitting again, and that's when we're going to get busy, I think.
So let me ask you this. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think? What's your guess for 2023? You think we're going to get over $1 billion or close to it?
I think we're going to be right in that area someplace. And that is all dependent upon if Holstone comes in.
Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, and that's just rumors, it's going to be about $500 million right there. So if that comes in, we're going to be well over $1 billion.
Yeah.
The first week we did like $15 million worth of work. So, and it was considered a slow week. So
yeah, 15. If you did that every week, you'd be almost at $1 billion just from what you talked about, a slow week. I think one of the other great things about 2022, besides the sewer expansion facility, at whatever $200 million.
Yep.
That means we had $1.7 billion that wasn't city funded, right? And typically we've had one of those super huge projects everywhere that's really taken us up, or a couple of those projects.
Yep, exactly. Last year we didn't have any when we set our record at $1.1 billion. This year we had $170 million go into the wastewater treatment plant. I don't know of anything big that's coming in this next year when it comes to public works. So, but yes, you take that off, we still had a really good year.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, $1.7 billion. We can't complain about that at all. So, let me ask you, anything else that you can see for 2023 that may surprise people, or any inside information that we can we look forward to.
One of the things I thought was interesting when I went through stats this year was the average size of the house went down about 50 square feet.
Really?
Yeah, and is that because they're trying to make them smaller, just make them more affordable for everybody? It could be.
Yeah.
You know, because the interest rates did go up a little bit, as we know, but they want to keep that price about the same. So the builders are doing everything they can to keep affordable housing too.
Well, the houses are going down 50 square feet, but the garages are probably going up like 400 square feet, right?
Well, if they have their priorities in the right spot.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on the program. We'd love to have you on at the beginning of the year to talk about the stats and to see some of the things that you're seeing. I know a lot of these projects and things get to come through our planning commission prior to this and these developments. So it's nice to see them kind of go full circle and get to where you're permitting them and you guys are inspecting them and you're actually giving them a certificate of occupancy and people are living there or they're doing business in there. So it's great to have you on. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Jason. It was my privilege.
Great. And that'll do it for Planning Preview for the month of February. The meeting this month is on February 1st at 6 o'clock at the Carnegie Town Hall. And you can come and provide input on any of the items that we talked about tonight. Or we do have that 5-minute public input section at the end of the agenda to be able to come and talk anything planning related to our Planning Commission. So thanks, Sioux Falls, and have a great day.